In this video, I'm going to show you 8 ways to avoid feeling lonely as a travel nurse. And if you think loneliness is something that you're really going to struggle with, then you definitely need to stick around for the 6th tip, because it can pretty much cure loneliness indefinitely. Now, you might know me from being one of my tens of thousands of followers on TikTok, or you might have just found me here on YouTube. Either way, I am glad that you're here. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Travel Nurse Rich. I have been a travel nurse for years. I love giving tips about travel nursing, but let's get into the video. If you're new to travel nursing, or if you've been a travel nurse for years, then you should be familiar with that loneliness feeling that you get from being away from home. It's kind of a feeling that you cannot avoid. But don't worry, this feeling does not have to be a normal part of travel nursing. There are many ways to get around this feeling of loneliness that I found out through my years of travel nursing, and here are some of the most effective ways that you can use to stop being lonely while you're a travel nurse. The first tip, and probably one of the most effective tips for avoiding loneliness, is don't take assignments far away from your home. When many people picture what a travel nurse does, they picture somebody who takes assignments at hospitals far away from their home, far away everywhere around the US and even all around the world. And while that is true for a lot of travel nurses, that is definitely not how every travel nurse does travel nursing. And if you really don't want to struggle with feeling lonely, or you can't go too far from your home, then you can always try to take a contract that is 3 hours or less from your house. This way, the only time that you actually need to be away are the days that you're actually working, which is actually how I do travel nursing. So I drive up to my assignment, work my 3 to 6 days, and then I enjoy a good 4 to 8 days off, depending on how many days in a row and how the weeks stack up back to back. And this works great for me when combating loneliness. But maybe you're not like me and 1 to 3 hours away from your home is still too far. Well, if that's the case, I have good news for you, because I have you covered, because you could take a local contract. Taking a local contract is an excellent option for many people. Even though you won't qualify for the tax-free stipends, you will still get paid well being a travel nurse, and you can work literally right around the corner from your house. Also, you get the added benefit of having a contract that was written the way that you like, so employers cannot take advantage of you. So this option could be a very viable option for you. The only people that this option is not good for are the ones whose main reason for getting into travel nursing was traveling the entire country. And if that's the case, you're gonna wanna find other ways to connect, so let's get into some more tips. Tip number 2, use FaceTime or some type of Skype. I cannot even imagine what being a travel nurse in the dark ages of payphones must have been like. It must have been super horrible and lonely. But with technology these days, if you want to see your friends or family, then just FaceTime them. Well, what if they don't have a way to Skype you back or FaceTime you back? So because you're now a travel nurse, you're gonna have that extra travel nurse money, and you can always go maybe buy them an iPad or something, so that way they have a way to video chat back with you. And it's kind of a win-win, because you get to feel good buying something for somebody else, and they get to feel pretty excited about a pretty awesome gift. But let's move on to the 3rd tip. Connect with your coworkers. I have made lots of friends while being on travel assignments. Some I still regularly keep in touch with, and others I've had every intention of keeping in touch with them, just for whatever reason, we kind of haven't. And I feel like I should take a quick minute to give some tips to the guys out there that are watching. Definitely do not use loneliness as an excuse to date all of your coworkers. You'll definitely make your workplace super awkward to be at, and you'll very likely end up extra lonely. But seriously, go find somebody at work that you like hanging out with, and maybe invite them out after work. Maybe go watch a game, maybe go shopping, maybe go to a local winery and try out some of the wine. You never know when a coworker can become one of your new best friends. And so I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but what if I don't like any of my coworkers? Hey, it happens, right? Well, yeah, it definitely happens. Besides, some places that you'd be a travel nurse at are extra cliquey. And you'll know when you're at one of these places because the nurses there will act like they are all part of some secret club. And a lot of times those places are super annoying to work at, because they'll end up putting up a lot of energy, creating barriers instead of finding a way to make the work environment 100 times better. And you definitely don't want to befriend people like that anyways. If that's a situation that you find yourself in, then just go ahead and avoid your coworkers for now, and let's try step 4. Tip number 4, join a fitness class. It's not a secret that a healthy body is stressed more physically and emotionally than an unhealthy one. Plus, a fitness class adds that social element that you desperately need when you're a travel nurse and you're in a complete new area and you don't know anyone. And keep in mind, it doesn't technically have to be a fitness class or a fitness thing. It could be any type of short-term class. Go take an archery lesson, find some sports club to join, or go make some pottery with a bunch of people in a room. There are tons of options. I mean, you could even join a group about travel nursing. You could join a Facebook group or a Meta book group, whatever it's gonna end up being because, you know, Facebook changing their name and everything. But you could join one of those groups for travel nurses and see if there are any travel nurses in your area. And then you guys can meet up and hang out on your days off. And if you're really desperate for a friend, I've even heard of people using dating apps and setting them on whatever friendship mode they have, and they use that to find a friend, and they say it works really well. I mean, it sounds kind of strange to me, but I hear it works, so you could definitely try that too. The basic idea for this tip is just to do something that makes you interact with other humans, because it's hard to be lonely when you're not actually alone. Now, I know some of you nurses out there are just cringing hearing me talk about interacting with people. And if that's you, then no worries, because I've got you covered too. Tip number 5, become a gamer. Now, obviously not everyone is interested in online gaming. But those of you that are know just how much fun it can be to spend that kind of quality time with your friends. I mean, you can be anywhere around the world and literally get lost in a game together for hours. Some of the most entertaining times that I've had on a travel nurse assignment were spent gaming with some of my closest friends from back home. And the best part is you literally feel like you never left your house when you're able to play games with them. And all you need to pull this off is a laptop with a mic, some good headphones, and a mouse. Oh, and some internet connection as well, which you can usually get if you just turn on your phone's hotspot. And now on to number 6, which could be the ultimate cure for loneliness while on a travel assignment. You ready? Bring your pet with you. Now, I don't travel far enough away from home for it to make sense for me to bring my animals with me. But if I did, I would definitely bring my dog. I mean, what's not to like about dogs? They're obedient, they're always happy to see you. If you make a mess, they're way too quick to want to clean it up for you. And if they've done something bad, they seem to know it and they put on a really sad face. So you really can't go wrong bringing your dog on a travel nurse assignment. Other people though, they like bringing their cats on their assignment. Now, I don't know why anyone would do that, but I suppose there are people out there that love claw marks on their furniture and they love their animal disappearing for weeks at a time. So yeah, if that's you, you can definitely bring a cat. But whatever you decide, in any place that you go, you can definitely find housing options that allow you to bring an animal. So it makes that a great option. Now on to number 7. Number 7. Go exploring. Another great way to help alleviate the loneliness of travel nursing is to treat your new location like it's an adventure. On your days off, find places to go and check out around town. You can find places to go for sightseeing, you can find amazing gems like restaurants, or you could even go hiking at a state park, or really any other adventure that you can think of. Staying busy will help keep that feeling of loneliness at bay. And besides, I already know that you're kind of already a little adventurous. Because you're interested in travel nursing, aren't you? You have to have some kind of adventure to want to be a travel nurse. And number 8, bring the people that you love with you. Nobody said that you have to keep the people that you love at home when you're on an assignment. You can bring your spouse, your kids, your friends, basically anybody that wants to come with you. And I know lots of travel nurses that bring their entire family with them. They either hop from Airbnb to Airbnb, or they go buy themselves a camper, and they use that to go from assignment to assignment. But to do this option, you're definitely going to need to figure a few things out. The first thing is that you need the people coming with you to have a sense of adventure as well. Unless they're your kids, and then you just force them to show up. But it's not gonna work out if, say, your spouse just has no interest in traveling the country. You can't really force your spouse to do things. You also need to be okay with the fact that there's a chance your spouse will not be able to work at all while you're on assignment, unless they have a way to work remotely, or unless they're also a travel nurse and they can take contracts with you or in the same area as you. And the people that I know that bring their kids with them, typically they use a camper, and while one spouse is out working, the other one's homeschooling the kids. But usually if this is the case, then you're gonna wanna be the one that finds the higher paying contracts because there's only one income. And sometimes finding the high paying contracts can be a little tough. But the good news is I did make a video about how much travel nurses make, and in that video, I show you a resource that you can use to find consistently high paying contracts. And that video is right here on the screen, so give it a click. I'm Travel Nurse Rich. See ya.